In recent times, our world, our nation has been confronted with rising insecurity and natural disasters. These challenges have left countless individuals and families displaced, vulnerable, and in urgent need of support. Both within Nigeria and beyond our borders, the plight of displaced persons has remained at the heart of national concern. Since its establishment in 1989, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons has evolved beyond its original mandate, rising to meet the modern-day realities of forced displacement. In 2024 alone, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees reported that Nigeria is home to over 127,000 refugees and asylum seekers and more than 3.5 million internally displaced persons, victims of conflicts, violence, and natural disasters. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Thanks for joining us on Reshaping Democracy, a platform where policy meets people and solutions are brought to light. Now, at the core of this humanitarian response is the commitment of the federal government to not only provide aid, but to restore dignity, rebuild lives, and offer hope. Today, we'll hear directly from the Federal Commissioner, Honorable Tijani Aliyu Ahmed, who leads the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. He addresses critical questions from Nigerians, shedding the much-needed light on the Commission's challenges, ongoing initiatives, and the tangible steps being taken to support internally displaced persons, asylum seekers, and returnees.
What strategies is the National Commission for Refugee, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons implementing to protect and assist IDPs, which are the internally displaced persons and refugees in vulnerable populations and areas like Maiduguri, where there is insurgency and conflict?
One thing is very clear. Conflict is not only in Maiduguri today. Conflict is generally affecting all parts of the Nigerian country. And that is why today we have a lot of displaced individuals cut across Nigeria. And as it is today, we have no less than about 6.7 million Nigerians that have been displaced. You can see the magnitude of the number. And it is the responsibility or mandate of this commission to ensure that it provides care, support, and assistance to these displaced individuals. Of course, the federal government is the major sponsor in terms of providing assistance through this commission. And that is why the commission is trying to ensure that all areas affected are being carefully looked into, and the support is being provided to the displaced individuals. And one of the measures that we are doing is, one, once there is displacement, the first thing to do is to provide livelihood to the displaced individuals, because they have left their place of abode, all their things have been destroyed. But the first thing to consider is feeding. This commission has been responsible for that and has been doing that to ensure that those people that are now living in camps as a result of displacement are not left in hunger. And that's why we have been providing food items and sometimes non-food items. The food items is to ensure that we support them in the area of hunger. And then the non-food items, we try to give them support in the area of skills, so that as they are living elsewhere, yet they should be able to fend for themselves. And that's what this commission is doing and has been doing. Take, for instance, because of the displacement that has occurred several years back, this commission came in with the idea of providing resettlement cities for the IDPs. And this is to provide them with shelter, either temporarily, in some cases permanently. And not only providing the shelter, they also provided within the provided shelter area skill acquisition centers, so that we can train them, Some of them could be farmers where they are living in their place of abode. But now that they have left their area, they have lost their farmland. And so if you insist that they must go into farming, it may not work. So therefore, we provided a skill acquisition center in almost all our resettlement cities so that they can learn other trades and in order to fend for themselves. This is another aspect. Of course, if people are put together in one place or living either in a very sheltered areas, the health condition, health issues will arise. So within these resettlement cities, and in some cases, within even some camps, we try to establish clinics so that we can provide them with health care. And not only that, when they produce, sometimes they find it difficult to have access to markets. So in doing that, we also established a mini market there within the resettlement cities, so that the little they were able to produce in the farm, they can bring it out, sell it, and then have income in order to provide for themselves. Because the number of, I have mentioned, 6.7 million Nigerians being displaced, and you want the government to continue fending on them? No, it's not possible. And that's why we brought all these tactics, all this strategy, so that we will be able to maintain them, at least to some large extent, also to maintain themselves through the provision of skill acquisitions, through the provision of farming implements, and so on and so forth, so that they can fend for themselves. So these are some of the strategies we're adopting. And not only that, I've told you almost all the zones in this country were being affected. And to do that, to ensure that we cover the whole zones, we try to come up with a skill acquisition centers to be built in each of the zones. We have started doing that in Niger State. And we are hoping that every quarter of the year, we should be able to have about 250 people that have been trained and then fend for themselves. When you multiply by 4 sessions, then you have about 1,000 individuals per year. And each of the, it is expected that each of the resettlement skill acquisition center within the zones is going to graduate about 1,000 in a year. And put it together in the 6 zones, you are going to about 6,000. So at the end of the year, we should be able to exit people from poverty by providing them with skills that they can fend for themselves. But in the area of resettlement, as far as this commission is concerned, we provide permanent shelter to resettle displaced persons. We have these shelters across Nigeria that it was constructed by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. We have this in Ncfrmi of recent. I'm sure you are aware that we had flagged up the relocation of about 235 individuals from Abuja camps, refugee camps, IDP camps.
Sir, can you elaborate on your commission's collaboration with international organizations such as United Nations High Commission for Refugees and International Organization for Migration? And how are these partnerships enhancing your commission's ability to support the refugees?
Between January and today, I think we have returned more than 100 flights, bringing back returnees to the country. So you can see, you can imagine the number of returnees that we had into this country. And between that period to date, the Commission, alongside with other stakeholders, what I mean by stakeholders, we have the other agencies that also assist us in the issue of returnees. But we have, most of our returnees are coming through Lagos and Kano, because most of them are either from Sudan, from Libya, and then in some cases from European countries. So between that January to date, we have received no less than about 100 flights. And we are hoping to receive more flights within the next 2-3 days into the countries. You can see the magnitude of the number now. So what is your question?
The collaboration with international
Yes.
organizations. Like
Most of these things that we were able to do is as a result of our relationship and collaboration, particularly with the IOM. IOM has been forthcoming in assisting the Commission in bringing back or bringing in the returnees into the country. Not only the IOM alone, also we have the United Nations, UNHCR. UNHCR are particularly in the area of refugees. In the area of refugees, we successfully returned about 10,000 refugees from Cameroon, 7,000 from Chad. And as I was coming in this morning, we had a meeting with the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and the UNHCR in preparation towards bringing in another 10 to 14 Nigerian refugees that are living in Cameroon and Niger. We are going to sign the tripartite agreement with the Nigerian government and the UNHCR. So you see, the assistance that we are receiving from the UNHCR is magnitude in the area of refugees. And in the area of returnees, the IOM has been doing the best that they could through providing us with flights that return our nationals back to the country. And not only that, we have the food war program. They also assist us in the area of supplies of food to our returnees, to our refugees, and to our IDPs. So these three major organizations have been supporting, very, very supportive of this commission. And in addition to that, of course, Red Cross across everywhere. The Red Cross are also not been left behind. They are also assisting us. So you can see the relationship, the interrelationship between the commission and the international organizations in terms of providing support.
My name is Murtala Balagosau. I'm from Zamfara State. The Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. Sir, how does the Commission monitor the implementation of programs with states and local government areas? And what mechanisms are in place to ensure effective coordination and support?
In terms of coordination, we have our zonal offices in the country. We have about 9 zones and then field offices. We have zonal offices and field offices. These are the offices that we use in the coordination of both refugee issues, displaced issues, and returnees and IDPs. So in Lagos, once we have returnees, we have an office there. They coordinate everything. Sometimes we personally from here go to Lagos and join them there. But in some cases, because they are there and they are well-trained individuals, they handle that issue. The same thing when you go to Kano. We receive our returnees. Many of our returnees come through Kano, and we have an office there. We have a field office there in Kano. If you go to the western, northwest, we have it in Kano, we have it in Maiduguri, we have it in Katsina, and then we have it in Kebbi. These are our offices in the western zone. And in the northeast, we have Maiduguri, we have Adamawa, we have Taraba. We have offices, zonal offices, and then field offices in this. So also when you go to the south, if you go to Calabar, we have our zonal office there. So these zonal offices and field offices give us all the support to ensure that our mandate is being fully handled, both the zonal and then the field offices. So tell the man there in Gusau that we also have an office in Kebbi. Kebbi is very close to Gusau, and they assist in ensuring that all issues that are related to persons of concern are being handled by these offices. Close to them, they are over, far away from them in Maiduguri and Katsina and Kano. So these are our key areas of coordination.
I'm Tosin Akinola from Makudi, the Benue State capital. Commissioner, sir, does the Commission assist host communities alongside displaced persons living among them, or victims of conflict, self-served camps in areas considered safe?
We do. Even if the camp is not registered, provided we have IDPs there, we assist them. And of course, of recent, we are about six months back or thereabout, we were in Makodi, where we distributed food items. And not only the IDPs, we share the food too, including host communities. They also enjoyed that patronage. So our key mandate is both for the displaced persons, refugees, migrants, and also host communities. And that's why I also mentioned the one in Erkande here, provided them with drill boreholes there for their use. We also assisted them in when we are distributing food items to our IDPs. We gave them part of it. And not only that, we also assisted them in the provision of farm implements to the people of Erkande. And the same thing we are doing all over the country. So our mandate covers both POCs and at the same time the host communities.
Commissioner, sir, my name is Grace Ochanya Adakole from Makudi, the Benue State capital. What types of empowerment does the Ncfrmi offer to support returnees affected by conflicts, and how do these programs contribute to their integration and self-sufficiency? We
have skill acquisition centers, and sometimes in camps, we train them in the area of telephone repairs. We also provide them with technological knowledge through the computers. When you go to our IDP camp in Durumi here, we have created a small area where we train IDP children to understand the use of computer. That is another area that we're doing. And not only that, in the area of farming, for those that are farmers, we make sure that we provide them with new farming implements and also train them on how to use them. But for those that are living in the camp, we have a skill acquisition center in all our settlement cities, where we have various trades there for them to learn, depending on which trade an individual wants, or displaced persons wants, or refugee that is living within the settlement city wants. He goes into that and then be trained. So these are the kind of trainings that where we don't specify a trade, but there are chains of trades that we can train IDPs. You know, usually we used to go and take statistics of our either returnees or IDPs or refugees, inquiring them on what they want. Depending on the number, we create an avenue for them to get trained.
Federal Commissioner, sir, my name is Mohammed from Niger State here. How does National Commission for Refugee address the issue of funding, which is often a challenge in addressing humanitarian response, and what strategy is implemented to mobilize resources?
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons is a federal government agency, and it also has its own budgetary allocation year in, year out. And in some cases, we receive intervention from the federal government. So these are our major source of funding. However, of course, as you know, issues of humanitarian issues is not a small issue. It requires a lot of finances. And that's why I'm coming in to say that while the federal government is doing the best it could in ensuring that the issue of humanitarian crisis and other things have been handled properly, yet we still want to go out of the box to involve other stakeholders in handling that, in providing or in supporting financially this commission to handle its mandate. Of recent, we have visited so many embassies. And I think we are getting positive responses from these embassies. And in the next few days or weeks, the Commission will also be going out to Lagos and other business states such as Kano, Lagos, the rivers, across rivers, to seek for support from captains of industries. People like the Dangote, the Danjuma Foundation, we have reaching them out now. And we are hoping that we are going to get positive response from them. Because the issue of humanitarian issues is not an issue just to be left in the hands of government alone. We need the intervention from other stakeholders. And that's why we are making arrangements to ensure that all the stakeholders are brought on board so that they can assist and support this commission to handle the affairs of the persons of concerns, which is very alarming these days.
What are the key challenges facing Refugees Commission in its efforts to protect and assist IDPs, refugees, and other persons of concern, and how does this commission plan to address these challenges in the future?
The key challenges is funding, no more, no less. Once you get the funding, you get everything done. And then support. You know, like in the area of migration, we still need the support of Nigerians in terms of advocacy. Let the people know that the world is no longer the same. You can remain in your country and still succeed. Many remain in their country and they succeeded. So Nigerians, particularly the youth, we've been advocating that let them remain in Nigeria. Nigeria has a lot to offer to them. But the problem in this area of migration is illegal migration, where many of our younger ones leave this country in search for greener pasture, and eventually they will lose everything, even including their life. And that's why we are advocating that, unless other Nigerians also help us in their advocation, that we should remain in our country and build this country. Migration is, you cannot stop people from movement. You can't stop anybody from moving from one place to the other. It's natural, and it is also human-made action. But however, we should be able to lessen the level of our movement for the better of this country. If everybody leave this country, particularly the doctors, who have a brain drain of doctors, who have brain drain of lecturers in our universities. And at the end of it, well, Nigerians is to suffer. So one of our area challenges is ensuring that our youth at least remain in this country to build the country so that we can build the country together. That's another aspect of the challenge that we are facing.
Now, with a much clearer mission to adopt international best practices and mobilize local and global partnerships, the Commission continues to work tirelessly to deliver durable solutions for the millions affected, from registration and documentation to protection and shelter, and most importantly, advocacy. Every effort counts as we all make contributions. Together, we can rebuild hope. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Thanks for being with us again this week. Join us next week, same time, for another edition of Reshaping Democracy. Bye-bye.